Welcome to the Nerdlore podcast, where we talk stories, theories, and lore. I'm one of your three hosts, Shiny Shoes.
And Slipshock.
And I'm Crashstarling.
And this is episode 5, where we're going to talk about Resident Evil. Today we have with us Turt Snacko, and he's going to take it away.
How's it going, everybody? So, Resident Evil, or Biohazard, as it's known in Japan, it's a survival horror game that came out, I want to say, about 1992, 1994. It follows mostly the story of the STARS members of the Raccoon City Police Department against the mega pharmaceutical company Umbrella. Before we actually get into it, I actually learned a fun fact today doing a little bit of research. The reason why it's called Resident Evil and not Biohazard in North America. And the reason for that is because there was already a game series in North America called Biohazard. So Capcom put out a contest to have the fans name the game, and the name that was chosen was Resident Evil.
Usually when you get online and you let fans pick your name, you get like Bodie McBoatface.
Or
something like Bolfa.
Or like Angus Hammer.
Or like when they were trying to name the school, and one of the names was Hitler School for Kindness and Tolerance.
It's true. It's true.
And that's a real thing that happened. So anyway, the first game, Resident Evil 1, takes place in the Midwestern town of Raccoon City. But a lot has happened up until that point. So to really understand what's going on, you have to kind of go back a couple hundred years. It all starts with a trading company called Travis, the Travis Maritime Trading Company. They're one of the companies that are basically exploiting Africa for minerals. As they tend to do a long time ago, and probably today still. Well, they find they find a lot of flora and that
fauna.
Can be used, flora and fauna that can be used for drug manufacturing, medical herbs of the such. For those who don't know, flora is plants, fauna is animals. Shortly after they find these medicinal herbs, they renamed the company Tricell. Tricell wasn't in the games until Resident Evil 5. But that's because Tricell never went anywhere. A man named Edward Ashford, who was the fifth head of the Ashford family, founded the company Umbrella, along with Oswald Spencer and James Marcus. They found in some ruins that they named Stairway to the Sun because of the location and how the sun came down through the roof. They found a flower there, which held a virus that was named the progenitor virus. These flowers were thusly named the progenitor flowers. Well, they find this flower and they extract the virus from it.
Did they find one flower, or did they find a whole crop of like?
No,
flowers?
These flowers grew pretty wildly in this ruin.
Okay.
When you play Resident Evil 5, you actually end up in this place.
I remember
and you see all the flowers. These flowers are still in abundance in this area. Well, Oswald Spencer had commissioned a man named George Trevor, who was a really famous architect at the time, to build a mansion. So to put it in perspective, because I forgot about this, a couple hundred years had passed at this time. Tricell was the Travis company was like back in the 1900s, but Tricell was founded in the 1960s.
Right.
So they had been doing this for a while at the time. Well, they discover the progenitor virus, and the mansion in the Arklay Mountains is being built. Sorry. So they establish the Umbrella Corporation as a front. There are actually two parts of Umbrella. The Umbrella Corporation, which is the front, it's a pharmaceutical company. And you have the secret section of Umbrella called White Umbrella. White Umbrella deals with viruses and BOWs, which is a term that stands for bioorganic weapons. Let's see.
So I actually had a question.
Okay.
So basically, it was the Travers company that was like the foundation to then become the Umbrella company, or was it Tricell that became like the foundation?
The Travis company became Tricell.
Mm-hmm. And then Tricell then developed.
Tricell. Not much. I don't think not much is really known about Tricell, because Umbrella and Tricell don't really have much of a connection.
Really? Okay.
All right.
They just came around the same time. So what I'm understanding is that where did the Umbrella company like develop? Like you threw out the name Edward Ashford.
Ashford.
So what Ashford? Okay. So what did he do to like develop this company? Like was he already an investor or something, or did like?
Well, let's see. Edward Ashford came from the Ashford family. Which was an already prominent family. They already had a lot of money.
So Daddy's money came in, and he was like, you know
basically,
what? Let's give people the worst cold ever.
Yeah. Well, see, it's funny that you say that, because I'm gonna go off on a tangent here. Now, the zombies that are the main enemy in Resident Evil were not intended.
Oh, of course not.
They were an accident.
I mean,
oh, I thought you meant like in the game design. They were like, well, we wanted
no,
ghosts.
No. In the
but
story,
then the models messed up.
So in the story,
okay.
In the story, the zombies were an accident. They're an after effect of the virus leaking. The virus has the ability to modify. When intentionally used, has the ability to modify cells and cause great strength and pain resistance.
Okay.
The creatures in the game, the hunters, the tyrants, anything basically that's not a zombie was intentionally made. They were manufactured as a BOW.
So, in other words, they was in there trying to make super soldier serums or whatnot, and just said, "Hey, we got zombies now."
Yes. There was. So what happened with? Okay. So the mansion was it was basically a front for the lab that was built underneath it, and the mansion was built in such a way that to get to the labs, you had to know exactly how to get there. You couldn't stumble upon it accidentally.
Huh.
And interestingly enough, once George Trevor was finished with the mansion itself, they locked him in there.
Oh.
They put him in a part of the mansion where he couldn't find his way out, basically, and he died there.
Wait.
Okay.
George
Didn't
Trevor
he
was he
make
the
it?
one? Yeah,
Yeah.
wasn't he the architect?
Yes, he was the architect. However, there are several keys. I don't know if you guys played the games, but there
Yeah.
are several keys and of all shapes and sizes that are required to get in
Moved
certain
other
places.
parts in the
Okay.
Okay.
So they locked them in his own design.
like,
Okay.
hey,
Yeah, I was about to say like.
Thanks for
you
building-
made it sound like they they just put him in a room.
No,
and he's
no.
like, "You'll never find the door you design."
well, this is the kitchen. I'll
But
be
I
fine, I
understand.
guess.
I can't hear Shiny at all. I don't know if you guys can.
Oh yeah. Basically, hey,
Okay.
you know, here's the kitchen. I'm stuck here. My bad. That one's on me, y'all.
So basically, they took away the keys, and he wandered the halls looking for them until he died.
Nice. Thanks for
Yeah.
building this great house. You're gonna die here.
It was
I
was
really
pretty
appreciate
fucked
how much time you put into making rooms that require several keys to unlock. Speaking of, we're gonna test them right now. Give me them keys.
Yeah.
up. Yeah.
Sounds like somebody's playing The Sims.
No doors. There's no exit. You're dying.
Yeah,
We're putting a pool in. So the basically you got to the mansion. They have the mansion built. They did it. Now what? How does it happen? What causes the outbreak, and then how do they move forward?
Okay, so in the mansion, they were creating bioorganic weapons. They were creating things like hunters, which are reptilian creatures that stand about 4 foot high but are slouched over. And Cerberus,
Okay.
which are the dogs that you encounter.
Oh God.
Did not.
They
like
are
those.
different, however, from the zombie dogs of the later games. Cerberuses were created intentionally. Zombie dogs were an accident resulting of the outbreak. Well, they successfully created the T-virus in this lab. And the T-virus, the T in T-virus stands for the tyrant virus. And using the T-virus, they were able to create the hunters, the Cerberuses, and the boss enemy of the game, known only as the Tyrant.
Is that like what the Nemesis is? Nemesis?
Yeah, Nemesis is a tyrant, but we will get into that a little bit later.
Okay.
Well, anyway, so there was a leak in here. The virus had gone airborne inside the mansion, inside the labs, killing all of the workers.
Nice.
So,
Workers comp.
Don't gotta
basically,
worry about it. Already dead.
well, shortly, like before all of this happens, there is a train traveling through Raccoon City, on the outskirts of Raccoon City, that is attacked by leeches. These leeches were created with the T-virus. They were injected with the progenitor virus in order to create the T-virus. And they basically like eat everybody on this train.
Oh,
Just
So
whoopsie daisies.
because of the leak in the mansion, there are things that are leaking out into the surrounding woods and killing people. That's where the Stars come in. The Stars are an elite force of the Raccoon City Police Department. They are actually a worldwide organization. STARS stands for Special Tactics and Rescue Squad. And they're mostly ex-military people. Well, Bravo team. Everyone has the Bravo team and the Alpha team. Alpha team are basically people who have been there for a while. And Bravo team are new members. Bravo team gets sent out to search the area and they experience engine failure near the mansion, crash land. Alpha Team is sent out after them, and they land, but after Bravo Team lands, they are attacked by Cerberuses. Most of the members are killed. One member, Rebecca Chambers, gets kind of put off on her path and runs into the Leech Train. That begins Resident Evil 0, which is a precursor to all the games. 0 and 1 run concurrently. 1 picks up with Alpha Team landing and getting attacked by the Cerberuses. One member of Alpha Team gets killed, Joseph Forrest, and the rest of the members head for the mansion.
I don't think this was clarified. How big are these teams? Because you said they're super specialized, right? Is this like 10 people?
The teams, I believe there were 10 members of STARS in Raccoon City. Each team, Bravo and Alpha, had 5 members. Each one had their own specialties. So the 4 members that make it to the mansion are Jill Valentine, Chris Redfield, Barry Burton, and the captain, Albert Wesker. So they make it there, unsure of what to do, and so they decide to split up and search the mansion, unaware that Captain Albert Wesker is actually in on the entire thing. He is actually a member of Umbrella.
Of course.
He was raised by Umbrella in a special program with a couple of other kids.
What was his name? Albert Wesker?
Albert Wesker.
Is Wesker from
Wesker.
Marvel vs. Capcom?
Yes.
I do know who that. Okay.
Okay.
Know who that is.
Anyway,
wild.
Albert Wesker's mission is to secure data about the BOWs and destroy the facility. So he works in the background because he knows the mansion inside and out. And he works in the background to complete that while also working under his facade with the Umbrella, or with the STARS members. He eventually recruits Barry Burton to his side by threatening the only thing that Barry Burton loves in this world: his wife and his 2 daughters. He lies to him and tells him that there is an Umbrella team waiting to gun down his family at any moment. So throughout the entire thing, they eventually get to the labs, and they find the Tyrant. And that is where Albert Wesker reveals himself to be the enemy, and releases the Tyrant to kill the STARS members. However, the Tyrant kills Albert first.
You have my enemy.
You then kill. You don't kill the Tyrant. You down the Tyrant in the room and escape. Getting out to the helipad, the Tyrant attacks you one last time, and Brad Vickers, your pilot, which I had skipped over a small detail. Brad Vickers is known as Chicken Heart because he is scared. He is terrified of everything. His biggest fear is of death and anything that is dead.
And he's the helicopter pilot?
Yes. Because he is the best pilot.
I was about to say, great work choice for the guy who's scared of everything.
When they land first at the mansion, Brad Vickers, and they get attacked, Brad Vickers takes off. That's why they don't just take back off in the helicopter. He leaves them.
Oh, yeah.
He spends the entire time circling around trying to get in contact with them. He finally finds them when they get to the helipad, and he drops a rocket launcher to you, which you use to then kill the Tyrant once and for all, and then escape.
Oh, yeah.
So we fast forward a couple of weeks, and this takes place in the books. But according to the books, which not all the information is correct because the books came out at the same time as the games.
Okay.
But according to the books, Umbrella hunted down the STARS members for months. And there was this shadowy figure who works in White Umbrella, but also with them, named Trent.
Okay.
He was the one who told Brad where to find them. He has basically like orchestrating Umbrella's downfall from the shadows while also working with them. Underneath the police station, there is another lab where Dr. William Birkin is working on a modified version of the T virus known as the G virus. The G virus, also known as the Golgotha virus, is an improved version of the T virus. However, he does not trust Umbrella with his virus, and then sets up a time to meet with the U.S. military to sell it to them. Unaware that Umbrella has moles in the military. They catch wind of this, and they send Hunk and an Umbrella Security Service squad to retrieve the Golgotha virus from him. During this encounter, which is in a cutscene in Resident Evil 2, he is resistant to them. He does not want to give up the virus because that is his thing. He owns it. It is his legacy. While backing up, he accidentally knocks over a coffee mug, which shatters, spooks one of the security service members, who then guns him down with a submachine gun.
Classic.
Hunk stops him. Well, to be fair, he was also holding. Birkin also had a gun.
Okay.
Oh.
So he had a gun pointed at them.
Fair.
Well, Hunk stops him from firing, insinuating that they might hit the samples. They grab the samples and book it out of there. Unaware of two things. One, that William Birkin was still alive, just barely. And two, he had a sample in a syringe gun near him. He then takes the syringe gun and infects him and injects himself with an entire sample of the Golgotha virus.
Got him.
Rapidly mutating into what is known as G. Birkin, a hulking monstrosity that continues to morph as he takes damage. He then hunts down and kills all of the members of the USS, except for Hunk, who is known as Mr. Death, because Hunk can't die. Not that he can't die, but he is so good that he somehow evades death.
Okay.
William Birkin then smashes all of the samples in his infected rage, which then leak into the Raccoon City water supply, causing the outbreak. Leon S. Kennedy, a rookie cop who had just gotten out of the academy and is starting his first day, and Claire Redfield, brother or sister of Chris Redfield, are both heading, I'll bet, from opposite directions to Raccoon City, unaware of the outbreak. Leon Kennedy is coming in to his first day of work, and Claire has not heard from her brother in a while, unaware of that he has gone into hiding, and has come to find him. They meet up at a diner where Claire is attacked by a zombie after it had eaten the head of the diner worker. She runs to the back, where she is met with at Leon's gun point, and he kills the zombie, and they escape together. They find an old police cruiser sitting on the side of the road, and they take it and they start driving. There is After driving for a while, there is a zombie in the back seat that rises up and attacks them. Leon slams at the brakes. The zombie flies out the windshield and hits the
Should've worn a
pavement.
seatbelt.
They are completely dumbfounded as the zombie starts getting up. But they notice that there is a truck barreling for them. A truck driver had been bit after hitting a zombie on the side of the road, thinking he killed a woman. They get out of the car just as the truck barrels into their car and explodes. They make a plan by shouting to each other from either side of the truck to meet up at the police station. They both end up at the police station from different angles, and they're pretty much separated the entire time. The police station used to be an old museum, so there are not traps, but like, oh shit. Hold on, my computer.
We still
just
see you.
went black. Okay. I guess I was sitting here for a while, so my computer went blank.
We're fine.
There are secret passages and everything, and an underground lab.
Of course.
Because of course there is. While Claire is searching around, she finds a small girl, Sherry Birkin, daughter of the late William Birkin. And she's informed by Sherry that there is a monster looking for her. She goes through the entire game protecting Sherry from this monster, and Leon gets to the police station and has his first encounter with a licker, a monstrosity that was, I believe the information on the lickers was retconned, because originally I had read that the lickers were zombies that were not killed fast enough, which mutated into Crimson Heads, which were fast zombies that could run and grew very long, sharp claws and bled from their skin, making them red. And then eventually they would turn from a Crimson Head into a licker.
Okay.
Lickers were quadrupedal humans with brains exposed and a 5-foot-long tongue. Umbrella had also sent out a retrieval unit known only as Mr. X to retrieve the G-Virus. The Golgotha virus causes a person infected by it to seek out blood relations to infect them with an embryo to continue like the G cycle, which eventually happens to Sherry. G. Birkin infects her with an embryo, which Claire is able to destroy with a chemical concoction created by Sherry's mother. Towards the end of this, both Birkin and Mr. X are killed in an explosion. Sherry is taken into custody by the U.S. government, and her nightmare is over for now. At the same time as all of this happened, a day after, I believe. Well, it's kind of fuzzy how long it starts. Jill Valentine is looking for survivors in Raccoon City when she comes across the police station, where she encounters Brad Vickers, who is extremely wounded. He only says that he is coming, and that they'll both be dead soon. As soon as he says this, a figure leaps over the gate, and in between them, grabs Brad Vickers, lifts him up into the air, takes a tentacle, and you've seen enough hentai to know where this is going.
Oh god! Oh god!
He impales Brad Vickers through the face, killing him, and then sets his sight on Jill Valentine.
I did not know where this was going.
We're watching different movies.
This figure is known only as Nemesis. He is a tyrant class BOW who was created with a parasite, which allows him to be controlled. His only mission is to seek out and destroy the remaining STARS members. He is exceptionally dangerous because, unlike the other tyrants, he has the ability to run and wield weapons. He wields... I know I said I wasn't going to talk about the movies, but in the movies, he wields a machine gun or a minigun and a rocket launcher. In the games, he only has a rocket launcher, which he can use in two ways. One, he fires it at you, obviously, and the second way is he runs up to you and just smacks the shit out of you with it.
Of course.
With the rocket launcher, like
the rocket launcher. Yes.
He hits
he hits you with the rocket launcher.
He backhands you with the rocket launcher.
What?
Yes.
What a mad lad.
Joe Valentine is successful in defeating Nemesis with a sci-fi weapon. Basically, it's a railgun that blasts Nemesis into oblivion. She escapes with Barry Burton and Chris Oliveira very narrowly, as the U.S. military deems Raccoon City a lost cause and nukes the place.
Yep.
We fast forward to Resident Evil 4. Leon S. Kennedy is now a Secret Service member and personal security guard of the president. His daughter, Ashley, is kidnapped by a cult group known as the Los Illuminados.
Ayúdame.
And they plan on infecting her so that they can send her back to kill the president. Leon eventually is able to kill the leader of this group. Their motivations are that America has gotten too comfortable with their lives and are blissfully unaware of the suffering in the world and need to be reminded. So Leon eventually kills Sadler, who is the leader of this cult group, and rescues Ashley, who at the time offers quite tactfully but also obviously to bang him by saying, hey, after we get back, you want to come over to my place? However, Leon is a good Christian man of morals and declined.
No, he was so in.
Yeah.
No, our boy was out there.
And in the game Code Veronica, Claire goes searching for her brother, Chris, and ends up in this facility looking for... It's not known what where she is at the time. It's only known that she fails and is captured and put on Rockford Island, which is a prison island, which is then attacked. The Rockford Island is then attacked by Umbrella, and zombies are set loose. Zombies and monsters are set loose on the island. She meets up with a youth on the island, and they track down how to get off this island. They get off, however, they end up at the Ashford family home, where the twins, Alfred and Alexia live. Alexia is currently in ice. She is in cryostasis, and Alfred kind of jumps between himself and dressing up like his sister.
What now?
Yeah, in order to trick them.
Sometimes you gotta dress up as your sister.
Alexia is actually infected with the T. Veronica virus. And she basically is this ultimate being And Albert Wesker actually makes an appearance in this game. Because, as it happens, he was not killed by the tyrant. He was close to death, and he infected himself with the T-virus. However, he infected himself with just enough of the T-virus to give himself superhuman abilities. He then began a quest to hunt down and kill Chris Redfield, which he almost had a chance to during the events of Resident Evil 5. And a backstory, he kidnaps Jill Valentine and brainwashes her into being his servant, basically. However, in the end, Jill is rescued, and Wesker is thrown into a volcano.
I would like to point out here that Chris Redfield also punches a massive boulder into that volcano. I don't think we can overlook that.
They have moments in the game where you have to push rocks, giant boulders, into the lava flow to kind of get across it. And one of the things that he does while pushing is he punches the boulders. And I don't know why,
boulder into a volcano.
He's also incredibly massive in that game.
Oh yeah.
Later on in Resident Evil 6, we actually meet up with Sherry Birkin, who has become a BSAA agent. BSAA is a faction similar to STARS, which was created after STARS fell into Umbrella's hand. Umbrella paid off the leaders, and the rest was history. Sherry is actually looking for Albert Wesker's son, who Albert Wesker was unaware of. Because of his biological makeup, he is resistant to the viruses, and they need his blood.
That'd be pretty useful.
He is actually a soldier of fortune, so he says that he will do it for $5 million.
I do.
So Sherry Birkin has to rescue him, and because they were given capsules from an unknown woman, him and his mercenary friends were, with something that would make them stronger. This capsule was actually filled with what was called the C virus, which turned them into either Yavos or Javos. I don't know the correct pronunciation, actually. I've heard it several different ways. But it did nothing to the current Wesker because he is resistant. He is immune to it. Sherry, actually, with being infected by her father, she actually has superhuman healing. From this. It's a side effect. Good. They eventually meet up with Chris Redfield, who resents Wesker's son because of his father, even though he doesn't know his father. And eventually they're able to put their differences aside and escape from the predicament that they've been put into. At the end, Wesker's son, who I'm trying to find his name.
Just his son is probably fine.
Jake Mueller is his son. Jake Mueller, eventually he gains a heart. Essentially, it's the Grinch story where that day his heart grew 3 times bigger, and he does give them his blood for a much lower price.
Oh. $20, man.
Basically.
See. So I know that wraps up a lot of the main story, like canonically, right? And then it kind of goes into 7, but 7's kind of its own little thing.
Well, actually, Chris Redfield is in 7.
Okay.
He appears at the very end, rescuing the main character.
Okay.
However, he's much smaller. He's not fucking like...
Not as yoked.
He's not...
If you guys are listening to this and you don't know what we're talking about, you gotta go to Resident Evil 5 and look at the character model for Chris Redfield. Dude had watermelons for arms.
Insane. He was buff.
Good.
He looked like, you know that guy who fucking makes those screaming videos in his car? I think his name is Frank or some shit.
Maybe.
He has the bandana across his forehead.
Oh yeah, I do know who you're talking about.
You know who I'm talking
Why?
about. He looked like that guy.
He's so jacked. So, like, that brings us to a lot of it with Resident Evil. And there's a lot of stuff that we can go into and kind of jump around and look at and everything else as we go through that. But thinking about Resident Evil, what kind of questions do you have that brings to your mind, Turts?
In a situation where you were forced into an outbreak of sorts, what is your first course of action?
Me.
All right, go ahead. Yeah, man.
I love zombie scenarios. So, first of all, the one thing you don't want to do is you never want to hit main roads. You do not get your ass to any main shopping centers. And if you can get a clear line of communication to your family, you take it, but you don't go looking for them. I have a storm cellar in my house. I have enough canned food to last a couple of months. I'm putting my ass down there, and I'm waiting out for as long as I can, stocking up as much as I can in supplies. And then eventually, when I run out, I'll make my way, like, not completely run out, but like within having like a small buffer. Then I'll make my way out and I'll start scavenging. But
I'd
roll solo.
It's worth to note also that Resident Evil's Outbreak is it's not your typical zombie apocalypse scenario, because the outbreak was contained within Raccoon City. No other places were hit. There were other outbreak in areas, but they were all isolated.
I think, like, if it's me and there's an outbreak, so as long as they're not like the World War Z movie zombies, not the World War Z book zombies, because the book zombies are way different. I think I'm going to attempt to secure a high ground of sorts. Like, real talk, the roof of a Walmart, perfect spot.
No, do not ever go to Walmart. You will die.
I'm not going in the Walmart. I'm going to the roof of the Walmart.
That's what I'm doing.
All right.
Yeah, there are
I'll leave the keystone for you, bro.
Yeah, there are ladders you can't get to unless you literally either have a key to pull the ladder down, or you have to go inside to it, and that has a key that locks from that. Then I can, like, get holes in the top, pull the things up, and then just, like, I don't know, pull canned food up if I need it.
I know, but I'm telling you, bro. Yeah, but you gotta get through a lot to get into a Walmart in a zombie apocalypse scenario.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people go through horrible storms, and they're like, we gotta raid Walmart right now. We gotta get all the water, milk. We need the bread. We need the eggs.
Milk, bread, eggs. Gotta have them. Gotta make French toast.
They just clear the shelves. And I'm telling you, this is for, like, people who aren't even in danger. They're just like, oh, I won't be able to get to the store. Well, might as well go through a crowd of 500 people. You think in the zombie apocalypse, you're gonna get through that crowd?
So maybe
he doesn't have to get through that crowd. He just has to get to the roof and wait for the crowd to get away.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, I that's like my,
because most zombies
ideal
can't
scenario.
climb. Most zombies can't climb from what I've seen. Like, most of them can't. Yeah. Now, if these zombies can climb, we got a different thing. I'm heading north.
Question. I had a serious question about this virus, right?
Oh yeah,
this virus.
Which virus?
It's
I talked about a couple of them.
I know the
T?
main. I think it was T originally. The main component of this sounds like it shuts down pain receptive neurons, right? So, like, do you still consciously think as a zombie?
They die.
Okay. So
that's what I mean. Is like if they're targeting specific neurons in their brain that are associated with like pain and your body's natural limitations you put on physically.
To put it this way, now when you're talking about the T virus, and if you want to know about effects, you have to be more specific with the usage. Are you talking about the accidental exposure, or are you talking about the intentional exposure?
I think the intentional exposure.
Okay, so because with the accidental exposure, basically kills you and then reactivates your body, causing you to be alive but not alive.
So, like, when you think about it, it's more like it's just supercharging the cells in your body. But if it's not controlled, so you're going to die and then wake up and basically your body is going to move itself to feed. But then when you're actually using it, it's used to strengthen your body and everything else like that. And I know, like you said, we weren't talking about movies, but I know in the one movie, there's a little girl and she's specifically using it to cure her disease.
Yeah, in the movies, the Ashford family isn't as prominent as they are, and the T virus was intended to allow his daughter to walk again.
That's why they made it. But
okay,
got a bunch of different stuff. Let me see. I'm trying to think of what kind of things I watched. So a lot of it. So you were talking about you're reading the books now, and I know they have quite a few novels out, right?
There are okay, so they're not making any books anymore. All the books have been already created. There are 7 books in the series, starting with this one, The Umbrella Conspiracy. There are 5 books that go into the games: Resident Evil 1, 2, 3, Code Veronica, and 0. And then there are 2 that are in between the games, being in between 1 and 2, and being after 2.
I mean, so you've read some of the books, or have you just started them pretty much?
I've read some of the books. There's only a few I haven't read.
Okay. They're a good read. Would you recommend getting into it?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like I would absolutely recommend it. Then they're only $8 on Amazon.
Yeah. Something I also like to ask, like, anytime I get to talk to people about Resident Evil, do you have hope that the movie franchise is eventually going to figure it out and get it right?
Well, the thing is the movie franchise is not in the same universe as the game.
Oh yeah.
It's similar to Marvel Comics and the Marvel Cinematic Universe. There are things in the comics that are different to the movies, but also the same. That's why I don't dislike the movies as much as everybody else does.
I don't hate them. I mean, I own them all, but I just know they get a little wild with it.
Yeah. I mean, essentially, the game, the stuff in the movies is pretty much the same as in the game. The T virus, when injected directly, will cause a different effect than when accidentally. Yeah, it's breathing or drinking it.
Okay. So with that, basically, what we got for you is, if people wanted to get a hold of you, or basically what kind of content you're creating or anything else like that, do you have any way that you have those people get a hold of you? You got anything you want to shout out?
I have a Twitter that I use pretty frequently. It's twitter.com/thearmoredstreamer. Armored spelled ARMOUR, the English spelling.
Oh, yeah.
I also have a Twitch of the same name, though I don't use it very much. However, I have been in the process of trying to get started a Dungeons & Dragons stream, which I hope to do on Sundays, which I've been trying to get Shiny to do, but he has too much commitment to his wife.
He knows, man. He knows.
So he can't spend a couple hours playing games.
Listen, we'll talk about it. So, this has been podcast episode number 5. We're talking about Resident Evil. You got anything, Slip? Crashed?
I want to say, for anywhere we post this, make sure to type in the comments what you would do in a survival situation if there was any type of zombie outbreak. But other than that, I'm good.
All right. So, thank you guys for stopping in, and we will catch you next time.